Hey everybody, welcome back to the Bourbon Note. I'm Greg.
I'm Ben.
And today, I think we're drinking a bourbon.
It is a bourbon.
It is a bourbon?
Mm-hmm.
How's it a bourbon?
It's from a weird state.
It is, well, it's not a weird state. It's a confusing lineage, which is hard to say.
Right. All right, let's get into it. Okay, so we've got on the bar today.
Yeah.
I have a history with this bourbon, actually.
Well, let's get it out here. Everybody's dying
let's bring
to know.
it in. I'm excited to do this.
They know, we don't know.
Bam. This is Clyde May's Alabama Style 6-year single barrel.
We have no idea what that means. I've never had this. I just saw it. This particular bottle happens to be a store pick from a store not too far away, so picked it up.
So I have had the Clyde May single barrel, not the Haskell store pick, but a single barrel.
Yeah.
So here, just right off the bat, I have to tell this brief little story. So I stopped into a local...
I'm going to cut the tape off you.
bourbon forward restaurant / bar. Just leave it at that. Nice.
That was nice.
Nice little cork pop there. And I was looking at the menu. They didn't have any prices for anything. And you know, sometimes places will...
I always like to know
too
cool for prices, you know?
Well, I think the problem is that their selection is always changing.
Oh, well.
You know?
Yeah.
And
if only they made paper where you could change it.
Yeah. Or not even paper, just a website.
Oh, website.
So, whenever I'm going to a restaurant or a bar, I like to know the price that they're charging for pours.
It's a reasonable question.
And it's not because I'm trying to be chintzy or cheap, but I have enough bourbon at home where, like, if I want to have a pour of even something like Elijah Craig, just a basic, simple, good bourbon, I'm not going to pay $15 for a half ounce of it. You know what I mean? Like,
but sometimes they'll pick some sort of label and stick a crazy high price on it, and it's only a $20 bottle, and they think, ooh, that sounds interesting, I'll have that.
Exactly, and that's what, like I said, I've drank enough bourbon, I have enough at home, there's enough at your house for me to explore as well, where it's like, I'm not gonna overpay stupid prices.
Yeah.
So I was just chatting with the guy at the bar, and I asked, they had an expensive rare bottle there, and I asked him, I said, well, what do you charge for a pour of that? And it was like $30 for like a half ounce, or $60 an ounce, or something like that, or $30 an ounce. I can't remember what it was.
Yeah.
But it was a $200 bottle at retail that is rare and hard to find. It was the Jim Beam Master Distillers, thing. So I was like, oh yeah, I was just curious. I wasn't gonna get it. So I was looking over the menu. I was like, well, I just want to try something that's kind of basic that I've never had before. So I got a pour of this, an 1.5 ounce pour.
Okay.
This is a $44 bottle that I could literally go across the street and purchase for $44.
Yep.
I got the bill and they charged me $36.
For an 1.5 ounce pour.
Yeah. Yeah, so they're charging $24 an ounce for I mean, it was a nice bourbon. I remember liking it, but not $36 for, basically I got about that much.
Yeah.
Well, that's not an ounce and a half, I
not
suppose.
quite, but yeah.
So anyway, sorry, I just had to bring that up.
Yeah, this is really more of a review of a particular restaurant that we won't name here, but back to the bourbon.
Yeah.
So I have absolutely no idea. I never, until like 2 minutes ago, had heard of what an Alabama whiskey is. We still don't know for sure.
Well, it says Alabama Style. So we learned on the bottle it's distilled and bottled in Indiana. So
we're guessing MGP, but we don't know for sure.
Yeah. And so it's apparently following a recipe that is an Alabama style, which they describe as using a different proportion of grains, which I was under the impression that most people use different proportions of grains from one another. So
well, I
don't know what that means.
They found the perfect, ratio.
Yeah. Like they got a lot of information on the front of this bottle.
They do, and
everything except that.
Yeah.
So anyway, before we go too long-winded on here.
Long story long, let's get into the bourbon.
This has a fantastic nose to it.
It has a lot of...
It's not a $36 for an 1.5 ounce nose, but I gotta tell you, it's pretty good.
So it's funny you should say that, because I think I get a lot of
I'm going to beat that into the ground in this whole video,
No,
by
that's
the
okay.
way.
That's okay. There's a lot of alcohol. It's very alcohol forward.
Yeah, 102 proof.
Yeah. But I'm not getting a lot of individual flavor notes, which is not a great name for our YouTube
I feel
channel.
like I'm getting like brown sugar, vanilla, and cherry.
No, you're not.
You don't think so? I guess I was mistaken. Yeah, there's something, there's
Maybe,
kind of
maybe
a...
cherry. You may be onto something.
The cherry, I think, is the most prominent.
Typically, that's an older, like, longer age, and we don't know the age of
Yeah,
this
and
one.
we do. It says it right there. It's 6.
Oh, well, it's a 6 and a diamond.
Age 6 years.
If this was from George Dickel, you couldn't trust it,
Right.
because they put numbers on their bottles that are not age.
Yeah, this actually says age 6 years.
Okay.
Original recipe. So,
Well, I'm
As
glad they
opposed
didn't change
to-
it. Glad they didn't change it.
I was waiting for you to make the joke there, as opposed to extra crispy. Or
I don't know.
really,
that
you don't
joke.
get the KFC movie references and KFC
No, I
references.
apologize.
All right, let's get into
This
this.
is an Alabama whiskey. It's not a Kentucky. All right, here we go.
Cheers.
Back on the rails. That genuinely tastes different.
I was gonna say that's different on the taste than it does on the nose, and it's a unique flavor.
That's what I mean. It's a lot of the same high points of bourbon that a lot of other bourbons have, but between the mouthfeel and the flavor profile, it's a tad unique. It's floral, it's spicy. There's a toffee caramel note. There's black pepper, it's light, but it kind of holds all the way from the start to the finish. Barrel, I'm not seeing a lot of barrel influence.
It's got a nice like spice edge to it.
Yeah, it's unique. It's it's really.
Yeah, it's different. I feel like there's it's good. It's not $36 for an ounce and a half good.
Yeah, you stick with it. Just keep going. Everyone's enjoying it.
Yeah, this is really good. I like this. There is, however, there's like a good edge, a sharp edge, like spice to it, but then it's kind of thin after that.
Oh, really? I'm totally opposite.
Really?
This holds up. It's only 102 proof, and I don't know if I've ever said that in my life before. It has a burn that's still going. It has a great long finish.
It does have a long finish. Like I'm getting the long finish on my tongue.
Yes.
On the front of my tongue, like the burn from it. But what I mean about it's got like the spice, and then that note kind of drops off and turns into just that burn for me.
So I definitely think the spice burn stays forever, still going. This has an incredibly long finish, and we've had a few other bourbons that are exceptional. You know, other bourbons that you would be willing to pay $36 a pour for,
Right.
that have this kind of a finish. You know what? The bourbon's only a $20 pour bourbon, but the finish is worth $36.
I don't know that I go that far, but it is good. Actually, you know what? The more I'm drinking it, I'm getting that longer finish. I think there's just a couple of sips there that it just kind of hit the front of the palate and then dropped off.
Yeah.
You ever had that before?
Yeah, totally.
The cherry really isn't there on the palate like it is on the nose.
But it does drink as well aged.
It does, yeah.
It's quality. It's got a good density. This is an interesting bourbon. You know what? We need to do this soon on the channel. We need to do a blind flight, and maybe with more than just us. Like, we know some bourbon people. Something like this is a wild card. Like, I think a lot of traditional bourbon enthusiasts would have a hard time figuring out what is that. You know what I mean? It clearly tastes like bourbon. It's not like we threw a Canadian or a Scotch at them or something.
No, but God, no, I am still getting a finish on this.
Yeah.
And I'm still getting it on the front, like the front of my tongue still has that nice.
So Ben at this point is willing to pay about $31 a pour.
Said extra $5.
Yeah, you're getting there.
It was a weird like ratio because I was like expecting like a normal whiskey pour, and we just stopped in for a couple of happy hour apps.
Yeah.
So our bill was $54, and 36 of it was my one little pour of whiskey,
Which is a tad disappointing.
Yeah. I'm starting to actually get the cherry is showing up on the finish a little bit.
Huh.
Yeah, this is really good. I don't know if I've really described any flavor notes here, but I feel like this is all spice. Like this is just, there's so much, that's the prominent note I'm getting from it, the prominent vibe.
Sure. What about citrus?
I drank all mine.
That's okay. That'll be another $36, please.
Yeah. Getting a little bit of vanilla in there too.
This bottle has more going on than I think initially I thought. There's more to this than I want to know more about it.
Yeah.
What are they blending? What's the mash bill really like?
Yeah.
Like, because there's something about this finish that is unique.
Very much so, and it's really good.
It's really impressive.
This is a total recommend for me. Now, I would not recommend going to a bar and paying $36 for a pour of it.
Oh, you should tell us a story. No.
But I would recommend for $44. This is a good bourbon.
It definitely is justified, I think, at that price. Mm-hmm. This is interesting. It's different enough to be different. I think that's what the word means.
I'm getting a ton of oak and spice now. Like just oak and pepper. Yeah, I'm really getting a lot of oak. I know you said earlier that you weren't really getting that so much.
I can see the oak.
But I'm really getting that. Like it comes across as like a
smoke.
Char?
Char,
Yeah.
maybe is a better description.
Yeah. I'd like to explore some more of their products because they've got a few of them out there.
They do.
I remember when I first got into bourbon, I had their original Clyde May's one, and I remember
kind of a white label with some colors on it.
Yeah, some pink and blue or whatever. And I remember, and this is before I really
I've never had it, by the way. I just
super got into it. I remember it just tasting like a ton of cinnamon.
Wow.
And I think maybe having the spice on this one,
the oak spice, to
maybe could
tamp that down.
Kind of manifest itself that way though. It's like a cinnamon spicy. Now I'm not getting cinnamon specifically on this.
Nope.
But just it's a spicy bourbon in the category of being spicy. If that makes sense. That's one of those statements that makes too much sense that it's awkward. Spicy bourbon in the category of being spicy.
If you're still here watching, thank you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I like this. I think I'm going to pick up a bottle of this.
I like it. You should overpay for it.
Well, I don't know if I'd recommend that, but for the $44 that it is, this I don't think you're going to regret buying this one.
You know, I know the regular sits at Total Wine, you know, the blue or the white label. That one they have at Total Wine all the time.
Yeah.
I've never seen the 12-year. They have a 12-year 110 proof. I've never actually seen that.
I'd be interested in that one.
Yeah, it's probably quite a bit more expensive.
I wonder what that would cost for a pour of it.
18.
Yeah.
You know, just to annoy
Probably. So, well, before this goes further off the rails.
Yeah, the rails are a question mark anyway.
Yeah. Well, and this is a single barrel, so these are going to vary a little bit, but when you do a single barrel of a particular bourbon, you get kind of a general idea of what to expect.
Yeah.
So, well, this has been Clyde May's 6-year single barrel on the Bourbon Note. I'm Ben.
I'm Greg. Cheers.